Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today is gonna be a more chilled video. I wanted to do a whole Halloween or like spooky themed reading, but I just don't have the time. I started filming this way too late. It's already like halfway through October. So I thought I'm just gonna read one spooky or a darker book, and I'm also going to be talking about all the books I want to read in autumn. Yeah, I think I've had this desire to read like more darker and spookier and like just like more mysterious and thrilling books in the month of October and the closer we get to Halloween. And so I have chosen to read Lady Macbeth for today's video. It is not like the spookiest book ever, but I feel like it's interesting concept. It's supposed to have like a horror element to it, so I'm interested to see how that's gonna go. It is written by Ava Reed, and she has also written Studying Drowning, so if you read that book, that's who wrote this. I wanted a specific cover, which is this one, and it is only available in the US. I tried to get it here, but it's really expensive, so I have to read it on Kindle. Yeah, without further ado, let's get on with reading. I'm so excited to see if this book is great. Oh yeah, I wanted to just say what this book is about. Obviously it's retelling of Macbeth, but we are following Lady Roskilde, that was I think born in Britain, and she has to go and marry Lord Macbeth in Scotland. She's 17 years old, but she was born with really silver hair, and somehow people thought that she was a witch, so her father spread the rumor that she was just cursed by a witch, and if men look into her eyes, they are driven to madness. So she has to wear a veil all the time. After she arrives at Lord Macbeth's, they have the wedding, obviously, and her handmaid that was with her whole life, and she is her best friend, and she doesn't know how to do anything without her. She's taken away and we have not seen her since. It's been a long time since we haven't seen her, and Roskilde thinks that she was killed. So yeah. And yeah, we're just on a journey to see how it all develops, and we have met the witches, and it is not as in the original text, but I kind of prefer this version. It's more, I think, fitting for Lord Macbeth's character, where he meets these witches, and I think it's more intriguing that way. I'm enjoying it so far. I have read 30%, so quite a bit. It's not too dark, but it's also not happy at all. So yeah, but I'm getting the like Halloween vibes, spooky vibes, you know. I can tell it's gonna get more, ooh, you know. God, we just met the King Duncan and his sons, and one of his sons is like, you know, and Roskilde is interested, I think. Roskilde noticed his beauty. He has no scars compared to all the other Scots that she has met, meaning her husband and his men. They are all scarred and struggling and all of that, and he is unmarked, unscarred. She just said that he's beautiful and he just looks like a prince, and he has gorgeous green eyes. So I wonder, I wonder, it would be amazing. Okay, so my birthday is tomorrow, so I'm gonna be doing my nails while I'm talking about books. I actually bought myself quite a few books recently, like at least 5 books that I bought recently, but they're not giving the vibes I want them to give. They're giving like fantasy, whimsical, you know, like cute vibes. And since it's autumn, I wanted something darker, as I already said. So my whole TBR is basically just online because I literally just got myself so many books, so I can't really justify buying any more, at least not yet. But since it is my birthday tomorrow, I am hoping my boyfriend got me at least one book that is on my autumn TBR. I actually did a video on TikTok and on Shorts, YouTube Shorts, of all my autumn TBR, but it's more like cozy vibes on there. I still want to read all of those, but I want also some books that are a little bit, you know, scarier. Oh, I just did my cuticles and I was bleeding, so yeah, that's great. Anyway, oh my god, no, my nail polish is combining with the blood. Ooh. And also with physical books, it's like I want very specific copies. I want them to be floppy and I want my covers to be pretty. Like, why would I get a book that I don't like the cover of? So that makes it more difficult to get the ones I want specifically. Actually, when I was downloading Lady Macbeth, I saw some recommendations on like down below for like similar vibes, a little bit fantasy, a little bit horror, you know. And so most of these that I'm gonna be talking about are from that. First one that I saw, The God of the Woods, and I actually saw that on TikTok recently. Someone was talking about it because the cover is really, really pretty, and they said that they got it just for the cover. I can't blame them. The cover is really cool. It is supposed to be a mystery thriller with some historical fiction. I think that like someone goes missing at camp and, you know, all of that begins the mystery. So yeah, the second one I saw was To the Bone. It is supposed to be a YA book, historical fiction, and LGBTQ, so I would be really interested to read that because it's supposed to be like a darker vibe, you know, and I've not read any LGBT books that are like darker like that, so I just thought, whoa, looks cool, might as well just add it to my TBR. I didn't really read the description much because I saw that some of my friends on Goodreads want to read it, so I just added it. And then the next one I think I'm most excited about is The Monstrous Kind. It's supposed to be a romantasy inspired by Sense and Sensibility. So that sounds really, really cool. And it's also supposed to be a bit scary, so I'm just like very intrigued. You can see that some of these are going to be following a theme, and that theme is red. Yep, I was just like, you know what, October spooky vibes, red books, because we all know why. The next one, actually, it's Lucy Undying, and I wasn't sure I wanted to read it at first, but when I read the description, I was just like, you know what, kind of sounds interesting. Actually, because this is like a vampire escapes Dracula, that's why I put it on my TBR, because what? That sounds so interesting. So it says here that her name was written in the pages of someone else's story. Lucy Westenra was one of Dracula's first victims. Okay, so she's trying to escape from Dracula. I mean, sounds super cool. That might be... I might read that next, unless I read The Monstrous Kind first. I have too many books that I want to read before Halloween and it's stressing me out. Okay, anyway, the next one is So Thirsty, and it is more like a classical thriller, but it also has fantasy like elements, I think, and paranormal and vampires. So basically this old woman that is dreading her birthday and her husband gives her a weekend retreat, and she goes with her best friend on like a rental cottage, and her best friend literally wants her to just let loose because the main character she doesn't have a backbone, you know. Her husband has cheated on her, and her best friend, she's like, you know what, you need to let loose, you need to do something crazy for once in your life. And the night turns horrifying, and they have to make peace with some eternal changes, which probably means that they're gonna get changed into vampires. I mean, you know. Then next is A House of Hunger. I wasn't sure I was gonna add this to my TBR because it only has 3.6 on Goodreads, and I tend to read mostly like 3.8 up because I just cannot handle bad books. They just put me in a slump, but it just sounded intriguing. It's mainly a horror book, which I've never really read those. I only read thrillers. It's historical fiction as well, I think, about this young woman who is thrown into the upper society where the blood is power. And that's all I know so far because I didn't really read the whole thing. It's just that first bit really interested me. I added also Carmilla because I saw some people on TikTok talking about it. Actually, just one girl from Poland. I started following her a couple of weeks ago, and she keeps talking about it and saying that it changed her life. And I wanted to change my life as well. So yeah, therefore I added it. Another vampire story, gothic, you know. I feel like there's a lot of vampires in my TBR, my spooky TBR. And then lastly, I added this on a whim because there was like a Stuff Your Kindle day with fantasy books. I don't have Kindle Unlimited, so I couldn't participate, but one book that was recommended by a lot of people was The Curse of the Macquarie, and it said that it had witches, wizards, magic, and also it had neurodiversity. So I really want to see what that means. As a neurodiverse person myself, I'm just intrigued, you know? And the concept is supposed to be like a dark academia book with like wizardry, you know, just those vibes. So it just sounds super intriguing. So straight on my TBR. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, because I only have a limited amount of time to read. This probably won't come out until like close to Halloween, so I'll probably have read at least one book from this TBR. But thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yay! I can't wait to read some of these books. They sound so good. I'm sorry I can't like give better descriptions of them, but obviously I don't really know what they're about yet, so yeah. So my birthday came and went. As you can see, it's decorated for my birthday, and I finished Lady Macbeth yesterday. I did a lot of reading outside because we were just on the move a lot in the past few days because of my birthday. We've been out a lot. So the first half of Lady Macbeth, I thought it was very, very similar to Macbeth, obviously, but like not much was different, like just the world and like the fantastical elements, but most of it was just following the same storyline. And then after the halfway point, I think the storyline kind of started changing, which I thought was interesting. Lady Macbeth was definitely different than what she was in Macbeth. I think she was less than a villain, more like an icon. I don't know, like she was just less of a villain. I don't know how to explain it without giving spoilers. And I really liked how Lady Macbeth was in this because I thought it was more intriguing, and I liked how she was just more relatable. I think the times that it was happening it were more visible because of how Lady Macbeth's character was and her thoughts and internal monologue, all of that. I think it was much more true to the times, I think, compared to Macbeth, for example. I really liked the fantastical setting. I did give this book 3.5 stars because I enjoyed it, but it was very similar plotline to Macbeth, obviously, but I thought it would be more of a retelling, reimagining. It just wasn't enough differences for me, I think, to like give it any more than that. Like, I still enjoyed it. I think it's a great book. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!